guys, it's Cassie and today I'm going to be talking about my Hermès Birkin in the size 25. This is going to be a full review. Pros, cons, would I get another one? How do I feel about having it? Safety, everything about this bag I'm going to be going through today. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie. I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Guys, are you ready? Let's go. So I'm going to have timestamps below on when I'm going to be talking about pros and cons, and then I'm just going to do a section which is like general thoughts about the bag, protection, accessories, what I think about getting another and all of that business, okay? Okay, so I got this bag in December. I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of how I got the bag and all of that, because I kind of covered that in the reveal video, so I'll link that below. I feel like I'm in a place where I've really kind of understood what's great about this bag and what's not so great about this bag and all of the things to consider. Is it worth it? And all of that business. So let's dive into the introductory details about the bag, and then I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. So this is a Birkin 25 in the Togo leather in the colour bamboo with palladium hardware. So the 25 size is the smallest size that they do. I think outside of rarely they've done like a couple of very limited pieces smaller in the Birkin style, but generally this is the smallest Birkin size. I really like this leather, but it's definitely one that is going to soften and relax over time. I really like the look of Togo. I really like the grain of it. I personally live and die by this colour, okay? If you're a seasoned subscriber, you know that I love my greens, my blues, my little pops of colour, maybe an orange once in a while. So to me, I always wanted a Birkin that was in a pop of colour. So let's go into pros. One big pro for me is the size. Like I said, this is the 25. And although it is the smallest bag, she has a lot of room inside of her, okay? You can really pack her and fill her to the brim. And due to the shape of the bag anyway, there's no weird nooks and crannies that you can't fill. You can really fill this to your heart's desire. So I really love the size. But the other thing about it is I really like the way it looks against my body personally. I'm 5'5", which I would say is like an average kind of height. And I just love the proportions of this bag against my height. I think that I love a mini bag anyway, so I was never not going to like a 25. Because the Birkins are so elusive and mysterious, it's like you can walk into a shop and say, hi, I'm thinking of pursuing my Birkin or Kelly dream. Can you bring me out all the sizes so I can see what it looks like, you know? Sadly, this is not a privilege that we really have, unless you're lucky enough that they're like, oh, we've got 25 and a 30 here for you, decide between, or whatever, right? You still get that. It still very much has that cute and adorable factor, but the practicality is there as well because you can really fill her. The second pro is the quality. Now, I had bought a couple of Hermès pieces before this, and obviously the quality is something that people talk about a lot to do with Hermès, but I feel like the bags is where you're really going to see it, because it's something that you use often, so you can kind of measure up the quality against other bags you have, but also you're just up close and personal with it anyway to judge. This is just absolute perfection. Every corner, she is just crisp and fabulous, and you can feel the quality as soon as it came out of the box. All of the hardware has a weight to it, you know? You feel the money through the bag, which is great because these are a lot of money, so I would like to be able to experience that, you know? Another thing is that these bags were really built to last, okay? This is a generational flex piece. We know this, pass it down through generations. We love that. But you can really feel she is made for years and years of being by my side, serving the looks, you know? Third pro that I want to say is that I think it's a very easy bag to style. The shape and the style of the bag is extremely simple. You're not going to come here and going to get something out of the box and avant-garde. Generally, to style and use, it's very easy. But I think the main thing with this one is the colour. I don't know if it's just because of my wardrobe and the colours that I usually like and all of that. I haven't found this difficult to style at all. I wear a lot of neutrals, a lot of all black and all of that. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a Birkin. She's going to be the focal point of the outfit anyway. So she may as well have the sodding spotlight shining on her as the pièce de résistance of a look. Especially the 25 size. I know that people have said that, you know, like, oh, it's small enough that it can be an evening bag. And I think for some people that works. Personally, I wouldn't. Personally, this is like a day bag only. I don't know if it's because of the style and everything else. I don't know if it's because I have like other bags that I prefer to use for evening. Personally, for me, I just think that it's a little bit too like big and ever so slightly bulky for an evening moment, but that's just me. Now let's talk about the cons, because as with all bags, even a Birkin, there are cons. So, con number one, let's talk about closure, or lack thereof. I do not close the bag because the hassle of taking this main flap out, right? Putting her down here, getting her across the knots of the twillies. Let's pull her in from the side. Remove this out of the way. Let's then thread this down. It's an absolute effort, which is why the majority of the time that you go about see a Birkin out in the wild, she is open because nobody has the time to close it. So the closure isn't great. Size of the handles. Okay, so this is a small bag. But my hands manoeuvre into the holes here, right? Look, right, my watch is resisting me. If I go in with this hand, we're fine, right? But then any such small bit of resistance, you know, a sleeve or anything, you know, then it gets a little bit annoying. There's only top handles, there's no crossbody, this isn't the Kelly where you have a little bit more options that way. It is top handle, or, you know, you're going to scooch your wrist through and she's going to hang off a little bit. I mean, look, this is not a comfortable situation. You know, you can't really do a crook of the elbow thing that easily with this bag. That is a problem with the 25 size. If you want to hold her on the crook of your elbow and everything else like that, keep that in mind. Okay, another con is the safety aspect. And this isn't to do with the closure. This is just because the bag is a Birkin, right? Because she's still quite fresh to me. This is my only Birkin, right? So, like, I feel very protective over her. And so I am a little bit more aware, definitely more aware than I am with all of my other bags. All of my other bags, I will use them in any which situation. Really, the like, thought of, like, somebody might rob me for this, is really at the back of my mind. With this, I'm a little bit more aware about it. It's not even about the bag. It's like, you don't understand. Like, I can't just go out and replace this if a bad situation happens, you know? It's not like I can go with my tail between my legs to an Hermès store and go, listen, you don't understand, like, I was robbed. So, like, if you could just, like, can you just get me another 25 bamboo? No, that is never going to happen. So now the section that I want to move on to is like general thoughts about the bag. So I did want to talk about protection. When I first did my like Birkin reveal, I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to keep the stickers on, I'm going to be that person, right? And then loads of you, actually very helpfully so, said no, take the stickers off because if you leave them on for too long, the glue starts to tarnish the hardware and then you have to send it off to Hermès and get it done and all of this business, right? And I cannot be bothered with that. Also, I have no intention of selling this bag. So I don't know why in my head at the time, I was like, I mean, I'm always going to be protective of this bag, but at the time it was like, oh my gosh, she needs to stay in pristine condition. But why? Like, it's meant to be used. This bag is for me. She's staying with me. It's Ivy and Cassie, you know. Sod your Thelma and Louise and your Bonnie and Clyde. It's your Cassie and Ivy, okay? So, I did get rid of those. I think the only stickers that I still have are the ones on the feet. I thought that there would be like a company that makes like tiny, really thin rubber covers that you can put on there, but I can't seem to find any. So I'll probably remove the stickers on the feet soon, but that's obviously where there's going to be more scratchies. Also on the topic of protection, I did just want to discuss inserts and the inside of the bag. So I knew straight from the get-go when I got this that I definitely would get inserts for it. But one thing that I'm very conscious about, especially with it being Togo leather, which you know has a tendency to really soften up, I didn't want anything that would push too much against the outside of the bag. I'm happy with like my inside space being eaten up a bit, just so that, you know, if anything's spilled or anything, I don't want to have stains on the inside and all of that. So I have been through 2 bag organisers. So I went on Etsy, I found a bag organiser, used it. Here's the thing, too thick. It was pushing against the sides of the bag and I was like, I don't like how that's going. I couldn't even like scooch this closed that easily because it was kind of pushing against the sides. So then I continued my hunt. And Samorga actually do, this isn't sponsored by them or anything, don't think they know I exist. They do 2 versions for the Birkin. They have a thicker one and a thinner one. And I went for the thinner one, and it's perfect. It doesn't push against the side. It literally just gives me a lining for the inside, and that is all I want. There is another Birkin insert company, 7RP, which tend to be the, you know, the creme de la creme of Birkin inserts and all of this business. I was absolutely not going to spend 300 euros on a Birkin insert. It's actually 425 euros. No, thank you. I don't know if I'm stingy. I don't know if it's like, you paid $7 grand on a bag, why won't you pay $300 on an insert? I don't know. That's just not how my mind works. My mind's just like, no thank you. Accessories wise, I obviously bought 2 Twillies. I wanted them to be matching. I wanted them to have like very similar colours to the bag. It just so happened that they had these colours, and you know I love blue and periwinkle and all of that, so it just made so much sense to me. I do have them partially as a protective aspect to the bag, and also because, I don't know, I'm kind of here for the vibe of it. It also means that, you know, maybe in time you can change it up and do different colours and whatever, right? They were, I think, £145 each. So, another interesting thing that happened when I got my Birkin was people were assuming that it's like, oh, so like, you're only going to be interested in Birkins now, and all of this business. Just because I have a Birkin doesn't mean that I don't find bags that I loved before just as attractive. I bought the Prada Crystal Re-Edition after I bought this bag, and I fully intend to buy loads of other brands and whatever really takes my fancy. I'm not just going to box myself up into just looking at Birkins, right? So that leads me on to, would I get another? Yes, no, if I would, what specifications and what all of that business. Okay, so, would I get another Birkin? Yes. I know I kind of had it easy when I got this Birkin because I didn't have to do too much of the jumping through hoops situation. And again, I don't want to be buying Hermès stuff that I don't want just to be potentially offered a bag. And there's really not much on my Hermès wish list. I don't know, maybe something comes out that takes my fancy, but at the moment there's really not, okay? I kind of think that my best bet to get another is in Paris when it's possible to go or whatever. I think that that might be my best bet instead of going through the whole process again and everything else. I kind of thought that I would want a 30, but I really do like the 25 size. So I'd be happy with, I'd be happy with anything. A 25 in a blue, if I could get it with gold hardware, that would be amazing. Or a mini Kelly with that kind of like pocket strap. And finally, is this bag worth the money? This is the most expensive bag I own. Do I think it's worth the money and the hype and all of that and all of this business, right? If you do it purely from a quote-unquote investment, this channel is not about stocks and shares and everything else, right? So don't leave a comment saying, don't talk about investment when it's to do with bags, right? So step aside. But if you want to talk about resale value and all of that business, then it is definitely worth the money. I can't find one with palladium hardware, but let's just take this one in gold. Currently selling for $25,000 on the resale market. Just as a bag, with the price of bags right now, I think so. I mean, if you look at a Chanel bag and the price increases and everything else, I mean, they're not far off, / they're the same price. I personally think it's worth it. I personally would get another should the opportunity arise, should I be worthy. If you're thinking about starting your Hermès Birkin journey or whatever, totally go for it and just sodding try. Like, so much of it is just trial and error and luck. It's crazy. But there you go. Let me know if you have any more questions about the bag. I would be happy to answer. I'm going to leave a link to another video here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.